Do you ever feel like manifestation is just another thing on your to-do list that you don't have time for? Like your spiritual practice is something that you have to do? Honestly, you're not alone because I felt that way too. Something that's really changed my relationship with manifestation is blending it into my lifestyle so that no matter what I'm doing, I'm also manifesting. I call this manifestation as a lifestyle, and it's single handedly made the entire manifestation journey more enjoyable for me. And I've seen my desires show up with a lot more ease. Manifesting as a lifestyle has made manifestation go from feeling like a task to something I just naturally do because it's who I am. If you'd like to learn more about this, I've created a step by step guide for you. I'll link it in my show notes so you can check it out. You're listening to the Affirmation Addict podcast with Pyle Corley. This podcast will teach you about the power of affirmations while making manifestation easy and accessible for you in order to enhance your spiritual consciousness. Thank you so much for being here, and now it's time to get started. Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Affirmation Addict podcast. Today, we are talking all about love, and not in the sense of manifesting your soulmate, not in that sense. I want to talk about like deep, divine, the sacred kind of love that I feel like so many different religions and philosophies and people talk about. It's something that's been coming up as a theme for me and in so many different areas. So I want to just talk my thoughts out with you and share with you where just my energy has been and what I've been trying to embody, because it's something that's not like the sexy, the glamorous. It is very deep and sacred and divine. And I don't talk about it necessarily on my Instagram just because I feel like it's a harder concept for me to share in that type of format. I can ramble about it all day, but it's harder for me to like make a video on it, so to speak, just yet. So I want to just share with you my thoughts on this, where it's coming from, and also hear your opinion. Please, I love just bouncing ideas back and forth with you. So if this resonates or if this hits home or if it's just interesting to you, I would love to hear from you. Just DM me. I love reading all your messages. It means the world to me too when we get to have these types of meaningful conversations. So where this all has come from, as you guys know, we were in Europe for a few weeks. We were at a wedding. Weddings always stir up some form of love for me. I always just am like, oh my God, the energy of love is so palpable. It is so deep and meaningful. And what was so interesting for me is I met so many different people, and some of the main conversations I was having was around like this deep spiritual love and the fact that like we are all love, and where does love come from and why love? So backstory, I think where this started coming from for me was I'm at this point in my life where I feel like I've manifested everything, right? Like you reach the top of the mountain that you think you want to reach, and then you're like, now what? One, you kind of look around and you're like, okay, well, obviously like my life, I still have lots of life to live. What do I do? And I don't mean this from a sense of arrogance. I don't mean this from a sense of I've made it. That's not where I'm trying to go with it. It's actually just something I never had heard anyone else talk about. So I really want to bring this to the forefront because I love manifestation. I always will. I love manifesting your soulmate. I like the fact that you can manifest your dream home and your dream jobs. I think that gives us so much peace in our normal day-to-day life. And I think in my normal day-to-day life, I have reached ultimate peace. What I'm finding out now is there's other aspects of who we are and ourselves and our souls that require a little bit more. And now those are the areas we have left to work on. And I personally would probably call this my spiritual self is the best way to put it. I think when we manifest a lot of these physical 3D things, I think it's really to help us navigate our world in a way that makes us feel better. I think it's one layer. It's like that first layer of just getting into your spiritual journey, realizing the power within. But there is a second layer that I am personally just tapping into where you do manifest everything. You have everything in your physical world, but there is not a void, but you know that there's more. And not more physical. Like, I don't even want more physical stuff. I live such a minimalistic lifestyle now, which I love. Like, I like having nice things, but I like having a few nice things. I don't want my walls filled. I don't want my house crowded. I like simplicity. I like not too many physical things. And that's where I think there's that first layer of like the physical self. I think the first stage of manifestation is really our physical selves. I think it's get that job, get that soulmate, live that like normal life that we all want. We all want all of those little elements of our life to just be settled and sorted. And I think that's our physical selves. Ultimately, I think it gives us a little bit of like a self-love boost. I think it gives us a self-confidence boost. But then I really think there's a huge aspect that I'm really starting to understand. That's the spiritual self. And I thought version 1 was my spiritual self. What I'm realizing is it wasn't, or it wasn't fully the spiritual self. I think now you tap into this place where you do have everything, the physical, then now you still want a deeper sense of stuff. And I think it's a deeper sense of love. And I'm at this point where when I meet people or just I personally consider myself as someone who has so much love to give, and I enjoy that. And I don't do it with the expectation of getting something in return, but that's only because I have my physical world sorted. I have an amazing husband. I have amazing friends. I have a great family. I have all of the people, and more will come, I'm sure. And I also have all of the things. I have a home. I have a career. I have a car. Like I have all those things. So it's like, I don't need anything in return because physically I'm set. So now I'm at this point where it's like I'm toying with like, what is like our spiritual self and like, what does that come down to? And what it feels like it's been coming down to for me is like this energy of love. And I think that's because that is the source of who we all are. Like we all are created through love, like sex, love. Okay. However you want to do it. I think one version of creation is love. Like I think we are born out of love, and I think we are nurtured to be into this world through love. And I think once we start to lose that sense of love, when we become more focused on the physical, we're all trying to come back to the state of love. And what I've been trying to understand and experience and embody is, what is this love? How do I embody it? How can I practice this? And what does that feel like? And what does that look like? And what is that experience? And it's been such an eye-opening experience because I personally have felt like a lot of people don't understand what I mean when I'm saying like, I will say I love you to anybody who crosses my path and I will mean it. Like, not because not for anything physical, not for anything like that. Like I'm married, love my husband. Once again, like I feel like love is one word. And it is such a profound word, but there's so many different versions. Like I know even like in Hindi and in other languages, there's multiple versions and ways to explain love. So I honestly feel like the English language is at a loss of the right words for what this type of love that I'm trying to explain is. I don't think it's the same love as like a love that you have between a husband and a wife, or you have between two friends. Like, I don't think it's like that. I think it's like a soul level love. I think it is so potent, and I think it's limitless. Like I really feel like there's an unconditional amount of it. There's an unlimited amount of it, and everybody can give it and receive it. I think we just are scared to do it because there's so many other things in our priority list, such as like, let me get married first before I just go around and give unconditional love to everybody. I get that. So I understand the complexities of that entire conversation. And one thing that's really been helping me feel and like connect to this energy that I'm trying to explain is being my unapologetic self. Like something about me, and I think I share these in lots of different episodes. I share it on my Instagram. Like I love people. I'm also such an introvert because I need to refuel from the inside out. But like, I love being around people. I love meeting people and hearing their minds and just sharing that energy through conversation and giving love in the form of just like listening and engaging and just like being in each other's presence. Like, I think that's such a beautiful form of like exchanging love, not in a necessarily romantic way, but on like a human soul compassion level. And it's been so fulfilling to me because a lot of people are like, Pilot, you talk to everybody. Why are you talking to so many other people? Just like hang out with us. And I was like, I love just like tapping into other people's energies and playing with that and experiencing that, because I think I feel like when I see somebody, I don't see them, or I don't really care about like what they're doing for their job. Like I never ask, what do you do? Unless it's the only conversation we can have. I could care less. Like I could care less about what you do. I don't really care about like any of that. What I really care about is like, what is your view on the world? How do you show up in the world? And like, what's your lens of life? And I think I might be trying to club too much into one thing, but I really think that's like me understanding like, how are you showing up as your version of love? Like, I think we are all love, and we all are versions of love, and we get to show and experience that in different ways. And it's such a cool thing. It's such a beautiful feeling. And I've been having so much fun with it. And so one of those big reasons and big things I've been doing is like being my unapologetic self. It's okay that I love, like, I don't know, like, I think it's okay that I love talking to other people. I love like going to bars completely sober and having fun and dancing, where most people when they're sober don't like going out. I just recorded an episode on this a few weeks ago. So go listen if that's something you want to talk about. But like, your unique quirks don't have to fit in with the world and like the patterns of society. And I think that is the most empowering thing, is like being so authentic to you, and being so okay with who you are and being so unapologetic. Like I have a lot of very irrational, they're not even fears, but they make me uncomfortable. Like I have random fears of fire, of elevators. I get a little jittery, and I don't even think about them as fears anymore. Like I don't avoid them out of fear. They just make me uncomfortable. But like, I'm so open about that. A lot of people probably have the assumption, Pilot, you're such a scaredy cat, or you're such an anxious person. And it's actually like, no, like I'm just willing to be open about like the slightest things that make me a tiny bit uncomfortable. Like I'm not putting on a show. So it's being so okay with who you are, where you're not also trying to prove yourself to other people, I think is the purest form of being loving to yourself and showing up as like the ball of love that we all are, has been really cool. So I think a version of tapping into the spiritual love that I'm talking about is actually tapping into you and tuning in. I think it's getting quiet and tuning in a little bit. Another thing is heart chakra work. And the best way I can explain that is just like imagining your heart chakra open. I love rubbing my hands together and putting my hand on my heart. And I love doing that as a form and as an invitation for my heart to open up, because I think the heart chakra is so fun because it's the middle of our chakras, right? Like we have 7, the heart is the 4th. So 3 above, 3 below. And it's the most powerful in the sense of it has like the most expansive field. When you go look at like the technical details of all the chakras, like it has the most expansive field. It's the most magnetic. And I think that goes to show that our hearts, which we all associate with love, I think there is something to be said. I think this whole exploration that I'm trying to do with spiritual love, I feel like there is so many different examples of it and different interpretations of it. So I've been trying to just tap into all of those. Hi, beautiful friend. I hope you're enjoying this episode. I wanted to hit pause for 15 seconds and share with you about my spiritual membership I created to help you raise your vibration and manifest with ease. I created Affirm It so you can have access to all, and I really mean all, of the spiritual tools you need to step into your higher self and watch your dreams manifest with ease. If you're really ready to dive into your spirituality and connect with your highest self, I invite you to join the Affirm It membership. More details are in the show notes if you're interested. And now let's jump back in. Another thing is like just moving through life through the lens of love, looking at life through the lens of love. If you think about your problems right now, how many of them could be solved? How many of them could be put to rest, put to ease, if you looked at it through the lens of love? If you showed up and you really just provided love to that situation or to that person, without expecting anything in return, would that probably solve your problem? For me, most of my problems, not all, but I would say most, like 98% of anything that bothers me now can be solved with love. Some examples. With certain friends, right? Certain friends who are some of my closest friends don't necessarily always show up in the way I would expect them to. And I could go and be like, well, you're not treating me like a good friend. I respect myself. I'm going to set a boundary. We're not going to be friends. That's one lens. And I think that's a very popular lens these days. But I also think there's another lens of I don't expect anything from you and I will show up for you when I'm ready, but I still love you and I will still have fun with you and not judge you or hold a grudge against you if you treated me in a way that I didn't like to be treated. I should still show up with you through the lens of love, and I will never hold that against you. And I know that first version is very popular in the self-care space. I think that's a very popular, like, I'm setting my boundaries, I'm taking care of me. But I also think that's rooted not only in love, I think that's rooted in a little bit of fear of being hurt versus I think that second version, and you might disagree and that's okay. But I think that second version of I'm okay with being loving towards you, even if you're not loving me the way I need to be loved or like treating me the way I need to be treated, but I will still love you from afar if I need to. Like still having love in your heart for somebody who's hurt you, I think is something I've only recently been doing and practicing, and it has freed me immensely. I am such a sensitive person, relationships, like friendships, people, my husband, obviously, family, like they mean a lot to me and they impact me a lot energetically. Even like my followers and you, like listening to this, like I create relationships with people so fast and like I go so deep so quickly where I've noticed that like that's not always reciprocated. And it used to really bother me. It used to hurt me. I used to be like, okay, well, we're not the same or we can't have this relationship. But then I started shifting it to, well, what if I don't expect anything in return and we just show up? I show up with love. Obviously, if you're being a toxic person, you're being mean to me. Okay, there's probably something I should work on. But if it's just like little things that aren't worth it, it's kind of scary to be okay with that, but it's like getting to that point where like you have so much love from within that the way other people, the way your life is, like that's not affecting you because you have like this non-diminishing fountain of love that comes from within that you can create where you're not looking for love through anything else. And the reason I say you're not looking for love is because when I started my manifestation journey, a lot of it was me looking for love in different forms. I wanted my dream job because I was looking for validation and approval, a form of love. I wanted my soulmate because I was looking for love. I was looking to be worthy, form of love. I wanted my dream home because I wanted that definition of success to make me feel like I could love myself. So all of them had different elements of love. And I think so much of what we seek is very specific versions of love. And especially in our relationships, especially in our friendships. And when you can have that like unwavering fountain of love from within, then you stop seeking it outside of you. You stop getting angry at the friend drama. You don't even get affected by gossip. Like that stuff starts to go away. Or maybe you do get affected, but it diminishes so quickly because you can restore your own love so fast. I hope this makes sense, but that is like the spiritual love that I'm trying to tap into more personally and trying to just explore a little bit more and understand a little bit more, because I really feel like whatever this is called, maybe it's not even love. Maybe there's a better word for it. Please educate me if there is. But like whatever that is, I think that is something that no one can take away from you and you're not dependent on anyone for. And I think that's like such a beautiful place of peace. It's such a beautiful place of just like bliss in a way where you're like, life is good. I have what I need. I have what I need from the inside out. Like that's what that affirmation means to me. It's like everything I need is within me. To me, that's what it's referring to, is like that fountain of love, that energy that comes from within. I think in Hinduism, or I don't even know if it's Hinduism, but Indian philosophy, I've heard it being called Shakti. So like that life force. So maybe life force is a different version of calling it, but like it feels like love to me. Like it feels just like kind and loving and empathetic and sweet and happy. Like, so I'm calling it love, maybe just life force. Maybe that's just what it is. It might be the same thing. So I don't even know the point of this episode. I hope it was helpful. I don't have an action item for you. I don't have any tangible structured takeaways, but essentially I really do think we are all love. I think we are all beings of love. And I think if we can start to fuel that from the inside out, and not in a romantic way, not in that sense, but if we can start to feel that and create that from the inside out, I think there would be a lot more peace as our normal state of being. I think we would be in such a different state all the time. And that's kind of what I'm trying to tap into now that I've reached that point of, you know what, like my physical desires, yes, I want more physical things, but like they're not like, they don't even impact me that much. It's like, okay, that would be cool, but like I still want to feel full and whole on a daily basis. And I think that fullness and wholeness comes from that state of love. So I hope this was helpful. If you made it here, thank you for listening. Thank you for hearing my heart and holding space for me. I hope this inspired you. I hope this kind of stirred something within you. Maybe it stirred up some love within you. And I appreciate you listening. And I will see you in the next episode. Bye.
Thank you from the bottom of my heart for listening, and I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If this episode resonated with you, it would mean the world to me if you could rate and review the podcast and share it on your social media so I know to keep creating episodes that are inspiring you to manifest. I'm so genuinely grateful for the time we shared today, and I'd love for you to join the community by following @AffirmationAddict on Instagram. To continue diving into spirituality and manifestation, head over to my website, affirmation-addict.com. Until next time, I'm sending you so much love and so much healing energy.